The call came in at dusk, the kind of quiet hour when the Texas hill country settles into itself, and the only sound is the wind moving through live oaks. Dispatcher, 911. What's your emergency? There's a hostile squatter on my son's property. He's refusing to leave. Ma'am, is he armed? The dispatcher asked, calm as always. A pause, then the mask slipped. Evelyn's tone turned steel cold. He's threatening my son's inheritance. Send someone now. I didn't hear the recording until weeks later, when the district attorney played it in court. At the time, I was on my porch swing, boots kicked off, reading Marcus Aurelius for the 100th time. Max, my old blue heeler, lay beside me, gray muzzle twitching at the scent of mesquite, smoke drifting from the valley. The sun painted the hills copper, and for a moment everything felt right with the world. The ranch had been my sanctuary since Ellen passed, 32 acres of rolling pasture and cedar breaks that had belonged to my family since 1887. ID retired from the bench 5 years earlier, trading gavels for fence posts, courtrooms for quiet mornings with coffee, and a dog who never judged. The place still carried Ellen's touch. The wild roses climbing the porch rail, the old oak shed painted barn red herself, the wind chimes that sang when the breeze came down from the ridge. Then came the tires on gravel, sharp and impatient, not the lazy roll of a neighbor's pickup. Max's ears shot up. A low growl rumbled in his chest. I set the book down and stood, knees creaking from 30 years of courtroom benches. 2 white SUVs with magnetic signs reading Community Enforcement Division screeched to a stop at my gate. 4 men piled out, uniforms too new, badges too shiny. One carried a clipboard like a warrant. The other rested a hand near his holster, trying to look casual and failing. A third filmed with a phone, zooming in on my license plate. The fourth stood back, arms crossed, scanning the property like he was casing it. Behind them, arms crossed and lips curled in triumph, stood Evelyn Hargrove, president of the Willow Ridge Homeowners Association. She wore a blazer the color of dried blood and the smile of someone who'd already won. I'd seen her type before, in courtrooms and boardrooms, people who mistook paperwork for power. She had arrived 6 months earlier, fresh from a Dallas suburb, with a clipboard and a vision of turning our quiet valley into a gated paradise of matching mailboxes and manicured lawns. My ranch, with its weathered barn and untamed roses, was the last holdout. Mr. Callahan, the clipboard man barked, we have a court order to vacate. This property belongs to Mrs. Hargrove's son. Leave now or face arrest. I leaned against the porch post, letting the silence stretch. Max growled louder. Court order? I asked, mild as Sunday tea. Mind showing it to me? The man thrust a paper forward. I took it, scanned the forged seal, the misspelled county name, the signature that looked nothing like Judge Harris. Cute, I said. You boys know this ranch has been in my family since 1887? Before your subdivision was a gleam in a developer's eye? My great-grandfather paid cash to a Comanche scout for the deed. It's recorded in the county courthouse, same as always. Evelyn's smile faltered. Don't play games, Harlan. We voted to annex this parcel. It's for community expansion. A pool, clubhouse, the works. Your refusal to comply has forced our hand. Annex? I repeated. You mean steal. The second man stepped closer, hand twitching toward his belt. Sir, we're authorized to use force. Max bared teeth. I raised a hand. Easy, boy. Then, louder, you authorized by who? Because those badges say Travis County Sheriff's Office, and I happen to know every deputy in the county. Swore most of them and myself, including Roy Delgado, who's probably wondering why his name is on a fake eviction notice. The men's eyes flicked to Evelyn. She snapped, just get him out. He's been a nuisance for months, unregistered livestock, unsafe structures, that eyesore of a barn. And those roses, she gestured toward the porch rail where Ellen's climbers bloomed defiant pink. They violate the color palette. I folded the fake order, slipped it into my pocket. Nuisance? I said. Lady, I've got a deed older than your subdivision charter. And my barn passed inspection last spring. As for the roses, my wife planted them the year we married. You touch one petal, you'll learn what nuisance really means. Headlights cut through the dust then, a brown Ford Interceptor rolling slow. Sheriff Roy Delgado stepped out, hat in hand, face unreadable until he saw me. The color drained from his cheeks. He was broader now than when I'd sworn him in 15 years ago, but the same steady eyes. Judge Callahan, he said, voice cracking like a teenager's. The fake deputies froze. Evelyn sputtered, Sheriff, this man is trespassing. Roy ignored her, walking straight to me. Sir, if I'd known it was you. You know now, I said. Question is, what are you going to do about it? He turned to the men. Badges. Now. They hesitated. Roy repeated, slower, badges. Clipboard fumbled his off first, plastic clattering on gravel. The other followed. Roy examined them, lips thinning. Private security contractor. No jurisdiction. He faced Evelyn. Ma'am, you're under arrest for filing a false report, impersonating officers, and attempted theft by deception. Evelyn's mouth opened, closed. You can't. Watch me. Roy cuffed her himself, reading rights in that steady drawl ID heard him use on murderers. Her son, Landon, lunged from the SUV. Mom. A deputy intercepted. Landon Hargrove, you're coming too. Conspiracy and vandalism. The boy had sheared my wife's prize roses weeks earlier, left a note calling them an eyesore. Now he stood pale, defiance crumbling. He had been the one driving the drone that buzzed my roof at 3 a.m., the one who spray-painted comply on my mailbox. As they loaded Evelyn into the cruiser, Roy paused by me. You want to press full charges? Everyone, I said. And add criminal trespass. This is my home. He nodded. Yes, sir. The SUV's lights disappeared down the road, taking Evelyn's empire with them. The night settled back in, crickets resuming their song. Max whined, nudging my hand. I scratched his ears. Good boy. We held the line. But Evelyn wasn't finished. 3 days later, at dawn, a flatbed truck rumbled up my drive, loaded with survey stakes and orange fencing. Landon hopped out, clipboard in hand, flanked by 2 new men in hard hats and a lawyer in a cheap suit. Morning, Judge, he sneered. We're marking the new boundary. Mom's appeal says this half-acre is ours now. Pool goes right where your barn sits. We'll pave the rose garden for parking. I stepped off the porch, coffee still steaming. Appeal? I asked. You mean the one filed after she was arrested for fraud? Landon waved a paper. Court says we can survey pending review. I took the document, read the forged judge signature, the wrong case number, the seal that looked photocopied. Son, I said, this is fraud on top of fraud. You're digging your hole deeper. And you just threatened to destroy my wife's memorial garden. That's not smart. He smirked. Smart is progress. Your barn goes. Your roses too, probably. Mom says they're a fire hazard. Max growled. I whistled once. From the barn came the thunder of hooves. My quarter horse, Thunder, burst through the open door, reins trailing, eyes wild. ID left him loose on purpose. He charged straight at the surveyors, scattering them like bowling pins. Stakes flew. The flatbed driver reversed, tires spinning. The lawyer dove behind his BMW, shouting about lawsuits. Landon dove behind his truck. Call him off. I sipped my coffee. Thunder, heel. The horse skidded to a stop beside me, snorting. Landon scrambled up, face red. You'll pay for this. Assault with a deadly animal. Horse isn't deadly, I said. Just particular about his breakfast. And you just admitted on camera, I nodded toward my porch cam, that you're here to destroy private property. Sirens wailed then, 2 county cruisers tearing up the drive. Roy stepped out, shaking his head. Harlan, you can't sick horses on people. Didn't sick, I said. He escaped. Happens when fools open gates. Roy eyed the chaos, then Landon. Boy, you're under arrest. Trespass, vandalism, and now animal endangerment. Landon lunged. You can't. Deputy tackled him. Cuffs clicked. Roy turned to me. You set this up. I grinned. I just forgot to latch the barn. Honest mistake. He chuckled. You're a menace, Judge. Only to liars. The second ambush came at midnight, 2 weeks later. I woke to Max barking furious, a low rumble of engines outside. Flashlight beams swept the windows. I grabbed my shotgun, not loaded, but the sound of racking a shell carries weight. On the porch, 6 men in black tactical gear, faces masked, carried bolt cutters and a battering ram. A drone buzzed overhead, red light blinking. Freeze. One shouted. Vacate or we breach. Max charged. I whistled. He stopped short, teeth bared. I stepped into the light. You breach my door, you breach the law. The leader hesitated. We have orders. From who? He glanced at a tablet. Evelyn Hargrove, HOA president. Emergency eviction. Non-compliant resident. She's in jail, I said. You're private contractors. This is felony home invasion. And that drone is violating FAA airspace over private property. A standoff. Wind howled. Then headlights, 3 sheriff's cruisers, lights flashing. Roy again, this time with a warrant and a helicopter spotlight from above. Got a tip, he said. Anonymous. Said mercs were coming. Chopper caught the drone on thermal. The masked men bolted. Deputies chased, tackled 3. The others vanished into the brush. The drone crashed into a cedar, sparking. Roy cuffed the leader. You're done. And you? He nodded at the tablet. Just confessed on body cam. Inside, I poured coffee. Roy sat at my table. This is war, Harlan. No, I said. It's cleanup. But they'll try again. He nodded. They'll post a car tonight. The third strike came at the county fairgrounds, a public HOA meeting turned circus. Evelyn, out on bail with an ankle monitor, had rallied her remaining loyalists. The gym was packed, residents on one side, her clique on the other. She took the mic in a power suit, voice trembling with righteous fury. This man, she pointed at me, has terrorized our community. He released a dangerous animal, threatened my son, defied lawful orders. He's a squatter using fake deeds. Boos from her side. Cheers from mine. I stood. Ma'am, I said, you sent fake cops, fake surveyors, fake mercenaries. You vandalized my wife's grave marker. You tried to steal my home. That's not terror. That's crime. The crowd erupted. A woman shouted, he saved my dog from your speed traps. Another, you find my grandkid's lemonade stand. Evelyn paled. This is about progress. Roy took the stage. Ma'am, you're in contempt. Sit down. She lunged at the mic. You can't silence me. Deputies escorted her out. The crowd roared approval. A new board member, Tom Reyes, took the mic. Motion to dissolve the current board and appoint an interim council. Unanimous. Cheers shook the rafters. The fourth and final showdown came at the federal courthouse, a packed hearing with cameras rolling nationwide. The DA laid out the case, forged documents, false 911 calls, hired intimidation, drone surveillance, midnight raids. Evelyn's lawyer tried to spin it as overzealous governance. The judge, Clara Ruiz, wasn't having it. Mrs. Hargrove, you abused emergency services, impersonated officers, conspired to commit theft. For years, 18 months served. 10 years probation, permanent HOA ban. Landon, beside her, got 1 year probation, 5,000 hours community service, full restitution. He lunged. This is bullshit. Clara added, contempt. 30 days. The gavel fell like thunder. Evelyn collapsed, sobbing. Landon was dragged out, cursing. Outside, neighbors waited with casseroles, tools, seedlings. Someone fixed my mailbox. Kids planted new roses along the fence. The county renamed the access road Callahan Way. I stood on the courthouse steps with Roy, coffee in hand. You won, he said. No, I said. The law did. That night, the valley glowed under a full moon. I sat on the porch, Max at my feet, roses blooming defiant. The wind carried no threats, only the scent of earth and home. Evelyn's empire was dust. My ranch stood firm. The earth doesn't forget. Neither does justice. What do you think? Was Harlan right to let it escalate to arrests? Or should he have de-escalated to protect the peace? Ever faced bullies hiding behind fake authority? Drop your story in the comments. Where do you draw the line between standing firm and picking your battles? We read every one.